Greetings everyone, Calypso here. It's a brand new year and that means new Deadhaus Sonata news, so let's get right into it. Last year was exciting for Deadhaus Sonata. It released their combat demo to a little bit of the public on Steam as well as the community. There were bug fixes, changes, stability checks, as well as an overall feel of how the combat would start to flesh out and work. But that's not about what we're talking about. We are actually talking about the new stuff in 2023, so we need a roadmap. With this roadmap, you guys can clearly see, unfortunately, Deadhaus Sonata will not release in 2023 the first age, which is essentially the early access testing and more working on it, the real building upon of that lore, that structure for Deadhaus Sonata will not be here in 2023, unfortunately. But it's not all bad news, because there is actually going to be possibly a couple of few demos released this year. Whenever that is, I do not know. There is no hard set date for any of this. It is 2023. It is the beginning of the year, and that means everything is going to be slowly trickling throughout this year. So yes, the first bad news is the first age will not release in 2023, sadly. But that doesn't mean that you can't not possibly be a part of it. If you are already a part of the Deadhaus Sonata community, then you have a chance, or will be part of this new program thing called the Noblesse. Dennis Dyack explained it in the most recent stream, link for it down below, that it's going to be an inward focus testing. So if you are part of the community or want to be a part of the community, then you can test out these new demos, be it focusing on the combat, the tarot system, the trinary archetype system, the balancing of the enemies, various bug fixes and changes, and just the overall community stuff for Deadhaus Sonata. It all kind of started where there was community votes throughout everything so far for Deadhaus Sonata, be it a legionnaire and what it looked like, the bat form of the werewolf. The first one, I believe, was a clock tower in Gelris, which you can see behind me. This is Gelris. And that's the clock tower somewhere right over there. That was the first thing the community voted on and what the design of it should be like. So why not have that come to the testing of Deadhaus Sonata? So with that, you get to test like it is going to be an inward focus testing thing. So it's going to be part of the community. Testing is obviously you want to get your feedback out there and in there, and then there's going to be a thing with the trinary archetype system, the tarot cards, and how those can sort of stack on top of each other and sort of balance each other out. The trinary archetype system is something that's I don't think any other game has really done before, except if they have, it's been very subtle and not exactly stated it is this. I know Dennis has been doing it for his entire career. If you go back and you play Blood Omen, it's very subtly done. You have your health, your magic, and then you have the different cards or whatever for your abilities. That's essentially a simplified, very subtle trinary archetype system. It's more forefront in Eternal Darkness with the red, green, and blue and how they all sort of feed off of each other. That's the trinary archetype system in Eternal Darkness, but this is also going to go within your tarot cards and how each one of those stacks within each estate for the physical, magical, and essential realms. So it's sort of just leading up to that and how we, the community, can make them focus better and getting all that fleshed out, and what works, what doesn't work, etc., etc. There's also going to be new enemies, which we'll talk about in 1 second, and how the balancing of those enemies work within combat, within the system itself, and everything else, as well as various other things. But talking about enemies, we have to talk about this one. This is the Hexblade, and this is totally badass. As you guys can see through this image, he's sort of got his literal hexblade with like the fire or the magic or something. He's going to be a magical enemy. He's also going to have muskets and a gun that you guys can see back there. He's going to be a close combat melee enemy, of course, that you have to fight. He's going to be able to go invisible. He travels in the other planes, like the magical and possibly the essential. Like, he's going to be the contender enemy that you have to fight. Like maybe kind of like a mini boss sort of character that you have to fight. I don't know, but it's badass. I want to say that he's inspired by Solomon Kane or Van Helsing, which Solomon Kane inspired Van Helsing. So either or. I don't know. Dennis hasn't said anything. He probably won't, but that's just my speculation on that. But yeah, this is awesome. Another new awesome enemy. So far, the Legionnaires and everything that you get to fight in the combat demo are pretty cool. I think the magical shields that they have within that combat demo are awesome. And like there's magical elements to some of these Legionnaires, the higher ones, but this one I suspect is going to be like a mini boss, and you occasionally will fight him, not to not too much to where it gets tiring, but each time you do combat a Hexblade, which is probably a special order of vampire or monster hunters, that it will be a difficult fight ahead, and you really have to use all of your abilities and skills to defeat them. It's going to be awesome. Like, this looks awesome. For anybody interested, Deadhaus Sonata has a display. You can buy all the art that you see behind me, this Hexblade character, other earlier versions of each class or environment that they've shown on display. They are the metal posters. I'm not affiliated. I'm just pointing that out there. A link for the Deadhaus Sonata display will be down below. But yeah, this is the Hexblade. It looks awesome. Finally, the last thing to talk about is the new gameplay that is shown. And also this art. The art that you've seen behind me here, there's the clock tower that we conceptualized forever ago. And for the roadmap is in-game renders with paintings over them to sort of flesh them out just a little bit. But the real thing to talk about is the gameplay. I'm going to just put some cool music over it and just let it roll. If you want to watch the full 2-minute version with Dennis Diak's voiceover explaining more of the mechanics and what's going on, you can watch that down below, as well as the full stream that I've just abbreviated here for you guys down below as well. Again, I hope you guys enjoy this gameplay. To paraphrase Dennis Diak, along those lines, this isn't optimized yet, but once we do optimize it, it will be much better. So yes, please don't knock on it too much. It is still just early gameplay for something pretty to show of what the potential, again, of Deadhaus Sonata. I think it looks beautiful. I did ask if the lighting was ray traced or RTX stuff because it just looks that good, but no, it's traditional baked in lighting. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoy this gameplay. I'm just gonna put some cool music over it. I've been Calypso, and I will see you guys in the next one. Fight the living.